Stormy Weather. I couldn't have picked a more apropos song. Everybody asks me, how are you doing? Well, that's how I'm doing. Stormy weather. Since my man and I aren't together, keeps raining all the time. Since he went away, the blues walked in and they met me. If he stays away, old rocking chair is gonna get me. All I ask the Lord above is to let me walk in the sun once more. Can't go on. Everything I know is gone. Stormy weather. Well, good morning and welcome. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you very much. Not only for your attendance today, but thank you for how you treated Joseph Paul Brennan. Fine old Irish Catholic name. Now, this is like the Ginsu knife commercial. You get two. But wait, there's more. We have not only our celebration of life party that we're going to do today, but we also are celebrating a birthday. Our girl Lucy is happy birthday, Lucy. There might be a little surprise coming for you. So if a policeman comes in with a boombox, get ready. Again, thank you for the way you treated him. He was a remarkable individual. Wow. Picture it, circa 1979. He comes to work for the company that I worked for, and he was going to open another restaurant, and he had to work in my restaurant for 2 weeks. So he walked through the door, and wow, the waviest brown hair, huge as hazel eyes I had ever seen. He was 90 pounds, soaking wet. I fell in lust when he walked through the door, stuck his hand out, and showed me those big white horse teeth. I always called them what they were. They were big white horse teeth. He had the most beautiful smile. It was absolutely infectious. So we're going to celebrate that life today, and we're going to have his birthday and Lucy's birthday, and we're going to eat a lot of food and have a lot of good things. But I want to get some housekeeping issues out of the way first. There's a question nobody has ever asked me, but I feel it in my heart, and I see it in every one of your eyes. And that question was, why weren't we told? Why didn't we know? Why did we not get any more notice than we did? Well, I'm going to walk you through the timeline, and I'm going to try to answer that question for you today. Now, if what I tell you today does not answer your question, then I'm afraid maybe there is no answer to your question. So, let's do the timeline. I'm going to start this with, Mr. Brennan was always a very private and personal person. He was not the type of person to get on Facebook and tell his business or get on the phone and talk about all of his troubles and woes. He wouldn't do that. Nobody would have thought of him as they did. It's always wonderful to be around. So that starts us. Now, he was also like a cat. He hid his illnesses. He didn't like for people to know that he was sick. Never wanted people around when he was sick. He didn't want them to see him. He didn't want them to know. He would go to the office with the flu, and none of the agents would know that he was even sick. He would fake it all the way through the day. So, in hindsight, as I look back, I'm thinking the symptoms started about a year before this story is going to start. Story starts in, picture it, circa 2016, January. The outward signs started showing. And I woke up one morning and we were getting out of bed and I looked at his legs and I said, "Oh, Joe, what is that? When did that come on?" He said, "Oh, Rodney, I think it was Thursday, day before yesterday, and it wasn't as bad until today." And I said, "Oh, there's a problem. We got a problem." So then started this endless series of doctor's appointments, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I'm not faulting them, okay? They did what they could with what they knew they had, but they weren't able to figure it out. Now, Joe and I are very strong believers that God picks the day you're born, and on that day, He picks the day you're going to die. The dash is the only thing you have anything control over. 1893-1923, the dash. But the beginning date and the ending date were already predetermined. Now, you can be healthy during your dash, you can exercise, you can do all of that stuff, but it does not extend the end date. The end date has already been picked. It was picked the day you were born. We felt like that very, very strongly. So, the doctors, it really wasn't their fault, but they couldn't figure it out. So one after another, after another, after another. So let's fast forward from January of 2016 to June of 2016. I load him on a plane for a long-planned trip to Washington, D.C. We get to our connecting airport, and again, life is going on. Everything's happening. There's no red alerts. He's eating, he's pooping, he's peeing, he's doing everything he's supposed to do. There were no red lights, nothing. None of the doctors, and we went to many, had any red lights. They were just like, what is this? Oh, well, try these lotions, try these creams, try changing your blood pressure medicine. We did all of the standard things that you were supposed to do. But we had landed and we were going to our connecting flight. And I said, Joe, maybe you ought to get in a wheelchair. Let me take you to the next gate. He said, oh, Rodney, I'm not going to go through the airport in a wheelchair. Are you crazy? Now, I rarely ever overrode him. Never, ever overrode him. But this particular time, I said, no, get your pink little fanny in the wheelchair, and I'm going to push you around the corner. So, around the corner ended up being 2-mile-long corridors. We had to get on a tram that took us to the other part of the airport, where there were another 2-mile-long corridors to get to the gate where we were at. So, when we got to the gate, he said, Rodney, thank you. He said, I couldn't have done that. He said, that was way too far. I couldn't have walked. I said, I know, Joe. No problem. We got this covered. So we knew how to handle the airport after that. He never gave me a problem. There was always a wheelchair waiting. We off the plane, and there it was, and we would go on about our business. So we get back from our trip to D.C. after we toured all the monuments. Now, walking was limited, so we cabbed it from place to place to place. But, he was able to tourism. He did everything. He went to dinner every night. Our lives were wonderful. It was absolutely storybook. We get back. We go back to our endless routine of doctors. It got to be where there was 2 a week at least that we were going to. And again, none of them were able to figure it out. So we fast forward through July, and we get to August the 1st. I load him on a plane, and I take him to San Francisco. Now, we had the airport down, okay? He knew, get in the chair, he wasn't walking anywhere. And it made the trip more enjoyable for him. So when we got to San Francisco, again, dinner every night, we saw this, we went to that, we toured everything, we were having a ball. This is August the 1st. We get back. We go back to the doctor, again, checking, and then I load him back on a plane, August 18th. I take him to Chicago, that toddling town, the last mention. We arrive on the 18th, and we do all the touristy things, and we party, and we have dinner at night. This was the very last photograph ever taken of Mr. Brennan. It was taken on August, and you can see down in the middle, on the end of the picture, August the 21st, 2016. He was having a ball. We enjoyed our little 2-hour cruise. If it wasn't for the crew of the minnow would be lost. But anyway, I digress. We had a ball that day. This is August 21st. We get back home after dinner, we get to the hotel. I wake up early and I have to be at an 8 o'clock meeting. So he's still asleep. I just go to my 8 o'clock meeting. Well, after that was over and the 9 o'clock meeting was going to start, I told the gang that I was with, I said, hey guys, I'm going to hang this one out. I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to the hotel room and check on Joe. I want to see, if he's okay and if everything's fine, if he's gotten up, what the deal is. So I go back to the room. And again, this is August 22nd. Now this is when the timeline gets important for you people. It was horrible. It was horrible. I've never seen a tank like that. This was him the day before. And now the day after, less than 24 hours from when this picture was taken, he couldn't get out of bed. It was bad. Okay? This is August 22nd. The first red light goes off in my mind. It was the first time I knew how much trouble we were in. But I didn't know how much trouble we were in. I didn't know. I just knew we were in trouble. So I leaned over the bed and I said, Joe, maybe we need to take you to the hospital here. Let me call an ambulance and we'll take you here. My tie was dangling and he pulled my tie, pulled me down to it. He said, no, take me home. I don't want to go to the hospital here. This is Chicago. I want to go home. Take me home. Well, again, I rarely ever overrode him, so I waited. We stayed there in the hotel room that day, and we made arrangements that we would leave the next day, which is the 23rd of August. Now again, first red light's gone off. It's been since January, and there's been no red lights until then. So we get home the 23rd about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I say, Joe, we need to go ahead and go. Come on, let's go. And he said, no. And he had a way of saying no that I knew he meant no. He said, I'm home. I'm going to sleep in my bed tonight. We're going to go in the morning. Okay, all right. So we went the next day, which puts us at the 24th of August. Immediately the emergency room admits him. Immediately all of their lights come on. They figured it out. They found out what it was. They called in the appropriate doctor. He did the appropriate test. We were sitting in the hospital room on the day of the 25th of August when the doctor comes in. And of course, jokingly, I get up and shake his hand and thank him and introduce myself. And I say, hey, Doc, what's the deal? What's up? What we got? He looked at Joe and he said, 3 to 6 months. Okay, it's the 25th of August. And all the red lights are going off now. It's all men on deck, battle stations, load full-ton torpedoes, shields up. August 25th, 3 to 6 months. And then we think, now we were both men that day. We didn't whimper, we didn't cry, we didn't bat an eye. We listened to the doctor, we thanked him for his information, and then they discharged him, put him out on the curb for me to pick up, take home. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? They don't give you a pamphlet that says, this is what you do next, then you do this, and then you do that. There's no pamphlet. They just put him on the curb for me to pick up and take home. Okay, so now I know we've got a problem. After a day or two, now I didn't know it was going to be a 21-day problem. 21 days that started the clock on the 25th. I didn't know I had 21 days. I thought I had 3 to 6 months. But 21-day clock started on the 25th. We get home, and day or two into the 21 days, I say, Joe, we need to tell the family. Baby, we gotta tell them. I said, I can tell them. We can get Patty to tell them. But they need to know. He said, no, I will tell you. Okay, great. So day by day goes by, and I didn't realize it was cooking 21, and we were on day 14 of 21 days. And then we were day 15. somewhere around day 12, I came back to it and I said, Joe, I tell you what, maybe it'd be easier if you just simply write everybody a note. Margaret gave you for your birthday the most beautiful stationery. His name all across the top. I said, use that stationery and write everybody a note. That'll be the way to do it. And he said, you know, Rodney, that's good. He said, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm going to write them all a note. So on day 15 of my 21-day venture, I come home. There's an envelope